When people hear Florida, they tend to think of the most popular tourist destinations. In their minds, they envision white sandy beaches with waves crashing up on the shoreline. Perhaps they think about little sea creatures such as hermit crabs, ghost crabs, grass shrimp, tulip-banded snails, hard clams that they might find along the shoreline. Perhaps in their minds they envision the sand dunes and the vegetation that makes up those four dunes, such as sea oats, bitter panicum, and beach cordgrass. Or maybe those transitional zones just beyond the four dunes, which are composed of vegetation such as dwarf sea grape, palmetto scrubs, or cabbage palms. All that should come as no surprise, seeing that Florida has the longest coastline in the contiguous United States, with over 2,170 kilometers of coastline and over 1,900 kilometers of beach. But what may come as a surprise to you is that Florida has much more ecosystem diversity to offer than just seagrasses and sand dunes. One such location to experience such ecosystem diversity is the Ocean Lake Hiking Trail. This is part of the Florida Trail Systems and runs from Lake Okeechobee to Hobie Sound Beach. Here you'll gain the unique Florida experience of backpacking through cypress swamps. Take in the beauty of the epiphytic bromeliads. While rare in the rest of the United States, this is commonplace in Florida. As you enter into Jonathan Dickinson State Park, you'll be leaving behind the marshes and swamps of the Everglades, but experiencing a more common Florida ecosystem. Climb the observation tower and take in the view of the pine savanna. As you continue your trek eastward, you'll be following the trail through some pine scrub and eventually onto some pine flatwoods. As you approach the eastern border of Jonathan Dickinson State Park, you'll experience a whole different type of ecosystem as you move through the maritime forests and begin to roll over the sand dunes, eventually crossing over Highway 1 and towards Hobie Sound Beach. And after 61 miles of backpacking, eventually you'll wind up on Hobie Sound Beach. And after 3 days of not having a shower and sweaty hiking, how wonderful that cool Atlantic water feels. But it's not a necessity to travel across state to take in the beautiful ecosystems here in Florida. Sometimes you need to travel no further than your own backyard. Not only are we surrounded by water on 3 sides, but here in the state of Florida we have over 7,800 lakes. That's more than any other state in the U.S. south of Wisconsin. I had this in mind when I purchased my home on Lake Hooker back in 2017. While it was way beyond my budget for me to buy a house along the coast, it was much more feasible for me to purchase a lakefront home. Here I could enjoy looking at the water and not have to look at the back of a neighbor's home. This is Lake Hooker. It's a private lake that covers 50 acres, sits 41 feet above sea level, and is about 3.5 feet at its deepest point. At one time there were high levels of algae growing in this lake. But with the introduction of blue tilapia, which are algae eaters, they tend to keep it in check. As is the case with any water hole in the state of Florida larger than a mud puddle, we do have alligators. And occasionally a soft-shell turtle will make his way into traffic, as is the case with this one. I picked him up on the way home from class one day, and since he was heading this way anyway, I decided to rehome him over here in Lake Hooker. It's commonplace to see anhingas flying over the lake, and from time to time see them swimming with a tilapia in their bill. This is where they get the nickname snakebird. And possibly my favorite neighbor in my backyard ecosystem, the roseate spoonbill. I'll occasionally see them walking along the shoreline, sweeping their bill back and forth, attempting to scoop up any small fish. And it's migratory in Florida in the winter months to have all the snowbirds stop by for a visit. This little blue heron has become quite accustomed to me being around with my camera, and is not camera shy at all. On this day I was fortunate enough to make observation as this wood stork captured his prey of this yellow-bellied water snake. And standing off just to his left there is an uninvited dinner guest. Little blue heron says, "Hey, Mr. Wood Stork, can I have some?" And about this time I heard a cry and realized that there was another dinner guest, Mr. Bald Eagle. Man, I thought I was really going to capture something here. I thought perhaps that this bald eagle would come down and take this meal from Mr. Wood Stork. He decided to fly on his way. And just as the eagle flies away, Mr. Wood Stork gulps down the last of his meal. And after he finished his meal, he decided to move about 25 meters off to my right, where he decided to keep me company. I love my backyard ecosystem. Thanks for watching.